Let us all thank the Masters, Universe, and the energies we received today. Thank you very much. Can you hear my voice okay, Masters?
Yep.
It's good? All right. So today we'll get started on the topic. So let us take the opportunity to thank Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji for his kind wisdom and true friendship that brought us all together into this common platform. It is his vision, his mission, and his direction we are all working towards the divine oneness. So we spoke about truth last time, the concept of truth, how it works, why we have to look for truth, and why it stands out in comparison to anything else. Today we'll talk a little deeper about how, if you are a truth seeker, if you are a real divine worshipper of truth, then how would your life will be? What are the things that you will see? What are the things that you don't see? There are definitive characters when you are practicing, the qualities, not character. The character will always be there as part of your own practice, but there are distinct qualities that you develop when you become a truth seeker. So how do you see that? You see a lot of masters who are enlightened, and then when you start to look at it comparatively, trying to understand, again, you cannot understand truth without being in truth. But if you try to put a kind of a combination, trying to see how a true master who is living in the embodiment of truth really has his own personal experience, how does he interact with life? These are important for us to understand how we are progressing in our own journey, because the journey of truth is going from unknown to known. Until you get that experience, everything is unknown. And then there are multiple different ways to get there, and there are multiple different techniques that can put you there. There is a lot of wisdom that is out there. If I'm trying to learn it, where am I in my learning? I'm in the first stage of learning, I'm in the second stage of learning, I'm in the third stage of learning, or I have become what I have been learning, the learned. So depends upon every one of our own journey as to where we are in connection to the truth. So if we try to put some perspective to this, trying to understand, okay, I'm a truth seeker, I'm following truth, I'm living by the principles and code of truth, but am I progressing to the extent that I need to? How do I need to look at myself, from yesterday to today, from today to tomorrow, or a month from now, or a year from now? What are the things that I should be looking at, or I should be, the qualities that I should be developing in my own persona? And these things will help us to understand how we are progressing. So the first and foremost is we have to understand experience itself is truth, right? Knowledge, whatever the knowledge that we are gaining, whatever the experience that you are getting in relation to the truth, that itself is a truth, right? If you are a true master, if you are a truth master, you do not believe in words, you do not believe in thinking and all that. What you believe is in being. You are already in that being, a state of being. A true master, if you look at it, he is already living the truth. He's not talking about it. He cannot talk about the truth without living the truth. You have to only be able to talk about truth at the permutations and combinations or at different dimensions only when you are being that. So that's why experience is the most important thing. Anubhavame satyam, anubhavame gnanam. We have got one of the 9 gems, right? PSSM gems that talk about this as well. And the most important thing that you see across the board with all the masters, enlightened masters who are living in the truth or being in the truth, is they have zero fear. They have absolutely no fear, whether about anything that is happening to body, about the world, about the activities, whatever that we are feeling as fear, seeing as fear, or going through as fear in whatever form, at the thought level or action or any feeling or emotion, whatever it is, right? Enlightened or truth masters, they have zero fear, right? Because when truth is there, fear disappears. There is no room for fear to be part of you when you are in the truth, because truth is the highest energy, fear is the lowest energy, right? Because fear comes from lack of survival. If you are not able to survive, in other words, Patriji talks about this. Patrisar says, if you have any type of fear, doesn't matter what it is, bodily, emotionally, mentally, at whatever plane it is or dimension, you are not enlightened, period. So when you are being a truth seeker, you have to start to look at it at your own journey as to how you are pacing your life. Are you really working towards a body level where you are afraid, or you have a fear of your emotions, you are a fear of your learning? There are fear tactics that you need in the material world, survival fears, right? Those are required. When something is falling on you, you have the instinct to move, you know sympathetic or parasympathetic kind of, that systemic fear is okay. But what fear we are talking about is the fear of illusion, the fear of you dying, the fear of you bringing all that, right? Everything that is unrelated, not manifested, but you have that kind of phobia within you, and that fear is what you should not be carrying. If you are a real truth seeker, you should gradually be progressing towards nothing should matter from a fear perspective. Everything is happening in its own pace, and you are living the dream the way it is, right? And the most important thing, every truth master, if you look at it, they have their own set of practice. Most of them talks about cleansing of the mind, removing of the illusional life, and reveals the truth by self. And meditation probably is the most common factor that you see. There may be other factors that you may see about inquiring about the truth, trying to understand the truth as it stands and all that. But the another most important aspect of it is they are always living in that dharma. The first dharma is meditation. They have experienced the truth through their own practice and through their own penance to come to that state, the fourth state of learning, which is becoming it, right? And it is not about, you will never adjust to the truth for convenience. Truth is truth. The way the masters live, the way, if you are a truth seeker, you will quickly understand that you are not gonna sugarcoat anything. There is nothing to sugarcoat. Truth is truth. That's it. It is like, it does not bend for circumstances. It does not bend for your situational things. You don't bend the truth. You don't put something else. Sugarcoat the truth. If you are bending the truth, then that is not it. Right? Then you are not there. So truth is never talked at a convenience level. Truth is truth. That's it. Right? That's why if you really look at it, the masters, they truly talk very directly, very clearly, very fearlessly. You know, irrespective of who may be thinking what, where are we, why are we here. They don't really look at all that. They look at whether I am talking about the truth, whether I am giving you that message about the truth or not. That's all matters. So most of it, if you look at Patri sir, you will know very quickly, right? Talking to him for 5 minutes, you will realize immediately that Sar comes with a different perspective. He doesn't care about who he is sitting with. He doesn't look at how many are there. It is nothing of the worldly affairs that does matters, right? Because when you are living the truth, you just talk the truth the way it is. No manipulations. It's very straightforward, like a laser beam, right? Just strike the goal with the direct shot. That's it. No flattery stuff, no impression. I want to create impression for you. I wanted to give you some kind of a sugar coated message. That way I'm trying to convince you that, hey, truth is the way of living. It doesn't, all these things are really not there when you have experienced the truth, right? And then the other important factor is they don't never carry a guilt or a regret, right? See, this is an important thing. Most of the time there is a confusion inside us. We talk about so many things and we do so many things in our life, and we start to look back and say, okay, I should have not done that. I feel so much guilt that I have done that, right? Or I regret for my actions what I went through it. The truth, masters, they don't carry any of that, right? Because every action for them is done on awareness, with awareness, and an act of responsibility. So they don't really, if you are a truth seeker, you should start to see some of these things shifted within you. You have to, there has to be a transformation within us to be able to shift from where we are to where we are going. If you are not able to see, because these are the, like, guilt, fear, sorrow, these are the lowest energies anyone can carry. If you are a truth seeker, if you are progressing in your own inner journey, there has to be a shift at some point for you to observe and understand that, okay, am I still feeling this regret? Am I feeling this guilt? If every time you're feeling guilt, every time you're feeling regret, every time you have a fear, there is learning. There is no room for learning. At that point, you're just living for sake of living. There is absolutely no learning in life, right? And if you are living with some of these lower vibrations, you are always thinking about stuff that is coming through as confusion. A little bit of confusion on everything that you are trying to do. You don't know why you are doing. You don't know where, you should do it, not do it. From chaos to confusion and absolute to the clarity is how a true master lives, right? They have absolute clarity. No guilt, no regret for whatever, because they understand that every piece of thing is learning. Every one of us is learning at our own pace, and every one of us will grow over time. So that this is something that we have to bring in as a truth seekers, to see how am I progressing in my own journey towards that. And never judges anyone. Never, ever, 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 ever judge anyone. If you are judging anyone, then you are not a truth seeker or a master. Because these things bring karma, big time karma, and which will block your progress into seeing the truth. Because these are all, whatever we are talking now, these are all the traits of your mind. The lower vibrations that carry your mind in a very active way, that will block your progress into the state of being. Truth, what I mean. So you will not be able to get into the truth when you have your mind so openly accepting some of these lower vibrations or carrying these lower vibrations, right? Judging someone is a very, very sinful act. That's why Patriji says no judgment, non-interference. We talk about a lot of different things, but I think this one is a very important one, because this brings a lot of karmic deeds for each of us, so that it will block our own progress, right? No one is wrong. Everyone is right from their own perspective. Everyone is learning at their own pace. Everyone comes with their own baggage of karma. Everyone comes and learns at their own pace. This is a very important statement. Everyone acts based upon their guna, right? Yadha karmaha tada gunaha. Yada gunaha tada karmaha. Yata antarangaha tada bahirangaha. That's what Shastra says. Right? The way your gunas are laid out, that is how you do the karma. That is how you act. So there is no point in labeling, judging, and kind of fixating things on everything that happens around you. Right? You just have to accept the way it comes. Because and then if you ask the question, who is the one that is judging within you, you will start to realize very quickly it is your ego that is judging. Truth is in the awareness. There is no judgment there, right? We are all aware. We are all part of the same consciousness. When you are in that state of consciousness, you don't have anything to judge anyone, because there is no second person there. It's all part of the oneness. So if you look at that masters, this is one of the progressing item that every one of us have to start. And foremost thing that happens in our own practice, when you are practicing meditation every single day, you will start to see progress where you are no longer judging people. You're accepting as they are. If that is not happening, then no matter how many years you do meditation, that meditation has no value. If you have not understood the concept of body, mind, intelligence, if you have not understood the concept of soul, if you have not understood that, hey, I am meditating every single day for me to get to what I need to get to, and you have been doing meditation for years and years, that meditation has absolutely no realization. It is futile to keep doing that kind of a ritualistic act, right? That will not give you any progression in your own path, in inner journey, right? We have to understand, as you start to bring, like Paramahamsa Yogananda talks about it very well, that no matter how much you meditate, how much you do what, if you do not start to realize the divine within you, if you do not accept there is divinity within you, for what purpose you are doing all these things? These material things will keep coming again and again, because you're not ready to accept the divine within you. Only when the shift comes, the transformation comes within you, you will start to accept things, and actually with acceptance comes the shift. It's other way around. When you start to accept it, and every single day if you do meditation without expectations, this is most important thing. Doing meditation without expectations is the way of meditation. If I'm doing meditation with an expectation, then you don't understand the concept of meditation. That's a different conversation altogether. But if you are a real truth seeker, you are not expecting anything out of meditation. You are just doing meditation for sake of meditation. That's it. Why am I doing? For me to be in that state of truth. That's it. That is the whole purpose. I wanted to go beyond the state of my mind and live in that awareness. That's all I need. Anything else, I don't really carry that. If we start to associate ourselves saying that I am a truth seeker, but then in every aspect of your practice, in every aspect of your swadhyaya, in every aspect of your sangatya, you try to bring these material things again and again, then you are not progressing. You're not looking at it in that perspective, right? You have to understand that you may have 100 people coming together in a particular satsang or in an event or whatever you're trying to do. Not everyone is at the same level. We have to accept that as a fact. But that doesn't mean that you should start to promote the false, right? Or the illusion of the old. You will still talk about the truth at a layman terms. Truth is truth. That's it. It doesn't matter who it is. So if you look at Patri sir's conversations in any of the events, he wouldn't shy off from saying anything about truth. He says, Aham Brahmasmi, that's it. Whether you get it or you don't get it, he will just talk the truth, that's it. And he says, you go figure it out, how to get that. So when you embrace that kind of thought process within you, and then you say that, okay, I wanted to get into that state of truth, the truth that is eternal, the truth that is immortal, the truth that is ancient, and I am that. If you start to embrace that kind of knowledge, energies, reality, whatever those things come to you, then you are a true master. You are no longer a disciple. The light glows within you. You become the master of everyone. There is absolutely no question of you trying to understand that, hey, I'm still becoming or I have become. You have become that what you are looking for. You are already that. You are just realizing that you are that. So it is very important. As much as my practice is going on, I also need to be in that state of reality to understand, am I progressing in the right way? A lot of times what happens, we don't introspect ourselves. Most of us don't introspect ourselves. We do a lot of sadhana. We do a lot of reading books. We do a lot of sangatya. And we go meet, join like-minded people. We do a lot of those things, but in a very mechanical way. Over a period of time, if you continue to keep doing it, it becomes a mechanical way. But at points, we have to take a step back and become, get into that silence or stillness and start to understand, am I going in the right path? Introspect yourself to see whether that qualities of truth, am I starting to develop? Things that I'm enjoying now, are they different than what I used to enjoy in the past? Is there any progression that is happening to me? Am I feeling a little bit of peaceful within me? Am I feeling a little bit of happiness within me? What type of work I'm enjoying myself nowadays? When you are a true seeker, you don't enjoy material work, much of it. You do a lot of work, but the more passionate, the more, the work that you wanted to really be enjoying is a spiritual seva. You should start to question, am I able to do spiritual seva? How much of my time I want to put into spiritual seva? If you are having thinking like that, if you are having actions towards that kind of a thing, then definitely you are progressing towards the truth. It's an easier way to identify yourself, whether you're on the right path or you are not there yet, right? The next one, which is the most important, is Ahimsa. We have to live in Ahimsa. Non-violence is the way of living. Ahimsa paramo dharma. When we say Ahimsa, it is not just eating. It is about your thoughts, about your words, about your deeds, everything, the actions, in all aspects of our living, Trikarana Shuddhi, right? We talk about that. We have to live by the code of Ahimsa, because only through Ahimsa you are able to reach the higher state of divinity. Truth is the highest state of divinity. For you to go to the next level state of divinity, you have to practice Ahimsa. The practice of Ahimsa is very, very important thing here, right? Because it is the real expression of Satya, truth, right? Ahimsa is the real expression of truth. So you have to bring Ahimsa into your life. There may be a lot of questions. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Am I not doing this? Am I not doing that? You are pacing in your journey at your own pace, right? Nobody can force you. Nobody can change you by just talks. The change has to come within you. But anyone can inspire and motivate you to look into that and then see that whether that change can be embraced by you or not. That anybody can influence, but nobody can change anybody, right? The change has to come within us. So if you try to look at it, if I'm not in the Ahimsa, doesn't mean that I'm not in the truth. Because if you look at any master who has lived in this truth for past, maybe million years or whatever, you will always find, folks who have enlightened, have come through the path of Ahimsa in all forms, not just one form, in all forms. So that the more you become Sattvaguna, Suddha Sattvaguna, you carry that kind of energies that will lead you into the higher plane of divinity or higher dimension. And that's how you progress to see whether you are able to get there or not. That's why meditation is very important factor that brings those energies to you every single day for you to be able to accept some of these things in your life, right? That's also a very important one. Then comes the emphasis of followers, right? they would never look for followers. A guru shishya concept is not something that you get out of a true master. A true master wants to make looks everyone as a master too. Because when you have realized the truth and you know the truth is everywhere, there is no question of differences, right? Every soul is divine. Everyone is equal. Right? So there is no question of you follow me, I follow you concept. Right? Learn from everyone and do what's right for you. Right? Sabka suno, apna karo. Right? Patri sir says that. And then you don't create dependencies. This is more important thing. And then you say that, okay, you come and do this for me, you come and do that for me, I will give you this, I will give you that. There is no dependency in the truth. Because in the context of truth, which is consciousness, which is everywhere, even the person who is coming and asking you help is also conscious. Right? Just that he's not aware of his consciousness, but he's also there. Right? So true masters create masters. They don't create shishas. Right? So when you start to understand the concept of truth, when you understand and embrace the truth in your life, you will see a lot of change, shift happening in your own life. Right? Whatever you have been accepting or whatever you have been fighting, you no longer feel like fighting it, because you start to accept everything coming and you take ownership and responsibility for everything in your life. Even the worst thing happening in your life, you take responsibility, but you brought yourself that when you start to live the truth. Right? Another important factor why it matters. I'm going to take a pause here and see if you have any questions before we move on to the next ones. Any questions here? Right, no questions. Okay, let's move on then. So the next ones they are always in joy. Right? There is absolutely no reason that for them to have any kind of a sorrow. Right? Because their mind is always silent. It's more like it is empty. Right? The joy flows naturally through them. There is absolutely nothing binding them. Right? Life is not perfect for anyone. Right? Life will have ups and downs. Even the most enlightened souls will also go ups and downs. They will always have that. Every one of us have that. But for the true masters, they don't see the ups and downs. They just are flat. It flows through naturally. Right? Neither you praise them nor you insult them. It doesn't really matter. He's totally detached. If somebody is coming and praising you, they don't take for it. If somebody is coming and cursing them, they don't feel for it. Criticism and praise, they take it same. No reaction, only observation, only response. The live example is Patri sir. So many times he got insulted. Some of the masters come, hey, you took my kid out. My kid is doing meditation. You have taken this, you have taken that. He will happily listen to them. He will say when asked about it, hey, master Patri sir, you have been, she's talking and you are listening and all. I was not listening. I was taking it from here and leaving it from here. If I take it, it comes to me. If I don't take it, it doesn't come to me. It right away goes back to her. It is because of her ignorance she's talking about it, but I am not ignorant. Right? So I'm living the truth, so I know what is the purpose, why it is happening. So I let it happen. That's it. I just become an observant. A very important thing, reaction. We know about reaction. We all talk about this reaction a big time. Action, reaction, how things happen, why things happen. You spontaneously, act on certain things without even thinking about it. Emotionally, you carry away that burst comes out inadvertently, not necessarily planned, but it just comes out of you. A lot of these things we heard about it, but if you are a truth seeker and you start to go a little deeper in your own practices, you will start to see a shift on these things, where you are ready to accept anyone at their own pace. Because like we talked about earlier, when you stop judging others and looking low at others, right, looking others as your state, because you are either equal or you're all, we are like either we are everything, we are all everything, or we are all nothing. That's the only thing with a true master. So when you start to look at it from that perspective, that viewpoint, there is absolutely nothing for you to give it back. You just listen, take it whatever you can, and then let it go. That's it. And then whatever you speak with clarity, with complete awareness, right? Whether you are sleeping for a couple of hours, whether you are eating, whether you are having a lecture, or you're doing whatever it may be, right? You're doing with complete awareness. This is the most important point. If you are a meditator and a truth seeker, you should start to see a shift on these things. The way you are eating, the way you are sleeping, the sleep time has to come down. The way you are speaking, and how you are in the complete awareness. Are you in the awareness? Are you mindfully acting during your day and then practicing meditation every single day, right? This is a very, very important point. As a true masters, right, we all have to come to that. At some point we'll get there. As a truth seekers, there has to be a shift that has to come to us to see that am I progressing in the right path. Even after doing couple of years of meditation, I still talk the way I talk, I still do things the way I do, I eat the way I eat, I sleep the way I sleep. Then there is nothing happening there. There is severely something wrong. Either the practice is not being taken seriously, or the knowledge towards how you need to shift your awareness, it has not started yet. The journey has not started yet. You may think that, okay, I am doing a lot of practice, I am doing so much of this, so much of that, but that means nothing when you are living, if you are not living that. Truth has to be lived. So this is an important, very important thing, right? Every act has to become like a meditation. Every act has to be like I'm observing, it's kind of witnessing state. That state has to develop within, and it cannot be something that you unnaturally bring it to yourself, or you try to make it happen for yourself. It has to come within you, to make sure that that shift happens in a very natural way, right? Whatever I'm doing, I'm eating mindfully, I'm kind of going out walking mindfully, I'm working mindfully. Whatever you're doing mindfully, and then that awareness, right? Truth is awareness. So that's the most important point. If there is one thing that you have to shift, is the lower vibrations, and some of these things will help you to understand how you are progressing in your journey towards truth. And then never compromise on dharma, right? You may lose a lot of things by looking at dharmic platform, right? If I put the lens of righteousness, right, a lot of things will fall away for a lot of us, right? We will lose relationships, we'll lose positions, we'll lose fame, but what you need to really look for is the truth. Am I living the truthful life? Am I being truthful to myself? It is very, very important. Without dharma, you will not be able to get satya. Satya means truth, right? Dharma, righteous living, is the most important thing for us to get to the for us to become the wisdom of truth, right? How do I do that? Is try to embrace the righteous living. I understand about dharma, I understand about adharma, but I always do what my mind pleases me to do. Then you will never get into the truth. Righteousness is the most important thing. There is a right way of doing it, there is every other way of doing it. You always have to be in the right thing, do the right thing. If you don't know, ask. There are masters out there, right? You can ask, you can look at scriptures, you can find out from people who are in the path of truth. They'll be able to help you, guide you. There are like a lot of different ways you can get the information. But just because you don't have the information, you follow your mind, and then you go into adharma, and then you say that I'm going to get my truth. It is just not going to happen. Very important one, right? And peace. This is the most important point. As you do meditation every single day, you have to find peace. And where do you find peace, masters? Anyone?
Inside us.
Inside us. So when your peace is inside you, why are you looking outside? You know what to do, right? Our duty is to go inward to find that peace, to find that harmony, to find that balance, to find that calmness. When everything is inside, why am I looking outside? Isn't that ignorance alone? So, inward practice is a must for every truth seeker. Every single day, consistently, you have to practice meditation, because without that, inner peace is not possible. Peace is not possible. It has to be effortlessly coming to you. You are not trying to go to the peace and say, hey, peace, come, 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 come. I'm ready to take you now. No, it has to naturally flow within you. And that can only happen when you go into the deeper states of being. Lot of meditation you have to do. Every one of us. When you go into that state, then you become more peaceful. Most important. It is a way of living, right? Because when you start to experience that peace within you, now you stop searching outside. You stop running around outside. You are in that silence. You enjoy that silence. You enjoy that seclusion. You enjoy that individually, sitting and doing your own penance thing. You enjoy that moments of opportunities where you're able to go deeper within you and enjoy that peace. So it's very, very important. If you are a true master, you are always in that peace, because wherever a true master comes, their aura is so peaceful, their energies are so radiant, that the area, the atmosphere in that environment becomes very, very soothing, very, very calm, very, very relaxed, because it is the presence of the master who is living in the truth, because they have experienced the truth within. So one of the most important, and happiness is also on the same lines, right? And true being, right? If I am seeing consciousness in everyone, and I am saying that you are what I am, you and I are same. The only difference is I have the awareness, you don't have the awareness. Then what I need to do is I just need to get that awareness. That's it. Human beings, animals, plants, any living creature that is on the earth, we see them with the same equal amount of clarity. There is no differentiation between animal, plant. Everything has been seen as a consciousness. And they are absolutely aware that everything is consciousness. So if an ant is going in front of you, you're not going to start to kill that ant, right? You're going to let it go. If something is coming in front of you, you don't purposefully go and damage it, right? You just let it leave. You let it live the life. So these things are some things that you will start to observe within your life, within your own life, that some things that you used to do, you no longer do. Some things you enjoy doing are no longer interested, are no longer carrying the energies that you need to carry. That is the shift that you have to see every now and then only you see that you are progressing towards the being of truth. Otherwise what happens is, over a period it becomes a stale thing. And we hear so much of I don't call garbage, but I call lot of different versions of truth, lot of different techniques that are out there. Only in meditation you have so many techniques. In the wisdom of truth, you have like so many different ways to solve. The new age wisdom is something that is also coming. There is so much that is out there. It is very easy for the sadhaka to get confused and not be in that state of being. So always try to look within to see how you are progressing and make sure that you are going in that right way. It's all happening. And loving unconditionally is also a most important thing for a true master. Right? We all talk about, hey, I love my family, I love my parents and all. That is not love at all. You don't love is not something that comes, right? Love is something that happens. It is like, I accept my family, or I take my family into confidence, then the love happens. I love my kids. You don't love your kids. You accept your kids and love happens. It's like meditation, right? I do meditation, or I do this, I do that. There is nothing like you do meditation. Meditation is happening. You got to go sit, and then meditation happens. So truth is, in a more ways, the more and more you start to embrace the truth, you will start to see there is a lot of paradox, right? We talk about death as a paradigm shift, right? Hey, is there a death? Yes, it is. Death is there. But then for truth seekers, that death is not there. Why it is not there? Because they see that death is only happening for body mind, and they are not body mind, they are soul. When you are body mind, yes, you have death. Body mind will perish. So it is very paradoxical if you start to compare between those two, right? Hey, do I need to get enlightened? That I am already there. You are already that. What is there for you to get enlightened again? Right? Okay, I'm starting to realize that. Okay, you're already realized, because you are that. You're already experiencing that in your deeper state of sleep. Then what am I talking about here? What am I doing here? So it becomes very paradoxical. Depending upon where and what level you are in your journey, you will be able to correlate that and see whether that is something that is acceptable to you or not, right? Same thing, love is like that, right? Love is something that blossoms within you when you are in the conscious state, right? That is the highest energy that is available in the universe. Love is the highest energies, because that's a quality of God, divinity, right? It is not because it's not because he tries to love you, right? Or she tries to love you. It just happens. He is that, right? When you are in that consciousness, the characteristics, one of the characteristics of the consciousness on the awareness state is love. Love blossoms within, right? It just comes. It just happens naturally, right? And then they always live in the mindful moment, here and now. We know about this concept of here and now. If you look at enlightened masters, if you look at the truth seekers, they always practice. You have to cultivate the habit of living in the here and now, not then and there. Our mind is always then and there, but we have to practice to make sure that we are here and now. Right? If you are a real true master, you always will try to be here and now. You don't go wherever you talk about hypothetical things. You talk about no nothing. Everything has to have scientific temperament. You experiment it. You take everyone's words as you don't take anyone's words granted. You experiment it, and then make sure that that is where truth is. Right? You have to experiment it. So that's another important aspect of a truth seeker. So the more and more you start to embrace this kind of knowledge and this kind of living lifestyle, right? You start to realize that there is much more to my life, right? Why am I practicing this? Is why am I doing meditation every day? Why am I doing all this, swajjaya, sajjana sangacha, all these things? Why am I doing this entire thing? Is for me to have a better version of me at the end of the day, right? And that better version of you has to be compared against every single day, the past day. Am I better from yesterday to today? Am I better from today to tomorrow? That thing has to happen, so that you know that you are progressing in the right order, the right path. And how do I help others? How do I come into seva? They do, truth seekers always always love to, it's not love, it's like, they are always in this seva, the mode of seva. They wanted to serve the community. Why is that? Serving is the highest form through which you can release your karmic debts. It's the highest form of, and the easiest way, and the highest way to release your karmic bondage is through seva, where you are losing your identity, where you're not expecting anything, but just being there and helping everyone else. Whether you're teaching meditation, spreading knowledge, or doing some kind of organization work or charitable work, whatever it is, right? That's the best part. It comes out in a very natural way, right? So that is another beautiful way to look at it, right? Am I progressing in my truth, in the state of my truthhood? Then you start to see that some of these things have started to come into your life. Now you see your family and everyone's family as one big family, right? You start to accept that, and then you start to give importance to doing more of the philanthropic work. You start to interest yourself. You start to divide your day according to your times, right? Say some of my couple of hours I wanted to serve community, and couple of hours I wanted to do my family work, couple of hours I wanted to do, this kind of that. Yeah. And living in that state of I am is the highest state of truth. No ego, no identity, no labeling, absolutely in the pure awareness. And that comes only with practice, constant practice. So the more and more we start to embrace the practice of meditation and then mindfulness, you will start to see a lot of these things coming our way in our own life. And if you are progressing it, you may not have everything at every point, but you may be seeing that gradual shift is happening in your own life or lifestyles, that you will start to see that, oh, okay, yes, I am progressing well, I'm enjoying this, I'm peaceful, I'm starting to relax myself. External influences doesn't matter anymore. It is all my within, right? When everything is within, why am I looking outside? You'll start to question yourself, the authenticity in the way you are looking at genuinely living the lifestyles. Then that's the most important thing. We don't have to get enlightened overnight. Nobody gets enlightened overnight. There is nothing like I'll get enlightened overnight, right? It is a journey that we go through, and over a period of time, once all the karmic baggages have cleared, then you will get into the state of truth. But for that to happen, every single day, we are so used to accumulating karma, but we are not used to clearing the karma. Clearing the karma comes with acceptance, with unconditional acceptance of everything, whatever is happening, it is because of me. Only with that shift is possible. And acceptance requires you to have unconditional faith in the practice that you are doing. You have to be faithful to the practice. When you say meditation, it works, you have to have the faith that it works. Yes. My masters. So some of these things, again, most of these are Patriji's concepts, right? I am that, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Kalvidam. A lot of these things, he talks about the final truth, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, after which the soul will not come back to earth for any incarnations, because you have completed the school of earth, and then you probably will go to the next lifestyle, right? Truth is not something that you speak about. Truth is something what you are. This is how, truth is your vibration, truth is your meditation, truth is your love. So he talks about a lot of these concepts if you look at Patrisar's wisdom. He brings a lot of these flavors in a multiple different conversations, like concepts, right? He talks about this concept. But yeah, I think we all have to embrace it. We all have to go deeper into our own learnings. That's why keep learning, keep listening to truth. Listening is the only way you bring that into your life. It has to be your highest priority in your day's life, right? Then only truth will come to us. Otherwise, it is gonna take time. We'll break here. And any questions? It's about 10 or 10 now. So, any questions? No questions? Interesting. All right. No questions, then let's call it a tonight. And then again, this is something that you have to listen again and again to understand the qualities of truth, how the true master lives in the truthhood, right? That way we also start to practice some of these things and compare against that life. It's not about comparing, it's about trying to understand, okay, am I going in the right path? Am I going in the right, my journey is going towards the truth, or am I get distracted or diverted somewhere? So keep looking to make sure that you are always in the path of truth, because truth alone prevails. Everything else will perish. So Satyameva Jayate, always remember that. Mundaka Upanishad talks about Satyameva Jayate is like, only truth will win, right? Everything else will be gone. So, all right, masters, if no questions, then let's end it for today here. And then we'll see you all next week with another topic. Excellent. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, master.